There is no doubt that Warzone is a successful battle royale with millions of people playing this game daily. However, that does not mean this game is perfect by any means, and here in this video essay, I want to delve deep into the history, story, rumors, and the current state of Warzone, and give some suggestions as how they can improve it. So without further ado, let's get started. Warzone's very different because it came out in 2020 with the world being shut down. People were locked inside and they had nothing else better to do, so why not play Warzone? You see, this mode was being developed around the same time Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 was being made, and Activision was really skeptical about it. This mode was released in Season 2 Modern Warfare, and this was interesting. You see, a lot of people had already owned Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019, and it was quite easy for them to adapt to the game because they had already ranked up their weapons, having all the perks and tools for a perfect class. What made this game different was not only the engine, but the fact that you can get your own loadout in the game along with perks. This promoted more aggressive play and allowed people to experience things within this battle royale. Every top streamer was playing this game, and it was quite clear this was a huge success for Activision coming off the failure of the previous Call of Duties. People were dropping into Verdansk and having a blast, and some people remember this as the golden times of 2020. While Modern Warfare 2019 was very debatable amongst the community, it is the highest selling Call of Duty of all time, and people did not stop playing it once it was released. I remember even before Warzone, a lot of the community loved it and some people disliked it. I mean, don't get me wrong, Modern Warfare had its flaws, but compared to Cold War and Vanguard, it's a damn good game. With the seasons following it, there was more and more content and the game was more alive than ever, and it seemed natural because Infinity Ward was the ones producing the actual content. Then it was announced that Warzone was going to be their main focus for the future, and people were excited. With the conclusion of Season 6 of Modern Warfare and the release of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, people were a bit skeptical because of the gameplay and the fact that it was not on the Modern Warfare engine. Some people liked Cold War because you couldn't slide cancel and bunny hop, and also it had an arcadey gameplay feeling. Regardless, Activision still released the game, and a lot of the fan base stayed until the integration with Cold War into Warzone. This is where a lot of the players saw the money grab Activision was making, and a lot of people dropped the game due to this. In Cold War, it would take ages to level up your weapons, and everybody was kind of getting tired of Verdansk and they wanted something new, and at first people hated Rebirth Island, but over time they just started loving it. They started loving the Resurgence game mode and the map altogether because it promoted more aggressive gameplay and not sitting in a corner camping all the time. Then there was a huge event of the nuking of Verdansk, which brought us back to 1984, and this was essentially a overhaul of Verdansk, and people were not happy with it because it was essentially the same map with a few different POIs and a color grading adjustment. Not too long afterwards, the hacker situation got really out of hand, and this is where a lot of the fans left the game because of the fact that every lobby was filled with hackers and it would be annoying. This was just a stale game and a game full of hackers, so streamers and everyday people wouldn't play it.
Good. You got
Off the game. End fucking task. This game is fucking horrible. Come on, bro. We land first time. And just doof, dead. What are we playing this shit for? Seriously.
He literally got anybody.
No, what are we playing it for? It's not fun. I don't want to play. I'm not having fun. I love you and I want to play with you and I have so much fun playing with you, but I'm not playing this fucking game. I can't do it. I'm done.
The cheating situation was terrible, and the integration with Verdansk 84 was like 3 steps forward but 2 steps back with the cheating and everything going on. The majority of people just essentially played Rebirth Island until a new map and an anti-cheat was released, which wouldn't be until another 6 months. And during these 6 months, people were begging Activision for an anti-cheat or some type of security against these hackers, but there was nothing until the reveal of Vanguard. They announced not only a new map, but the Ricochet anti-cheat system, and everything looked promising until it actually happened. With the Vanguard integration, it introduced a lot of guns and allowed for 10 different attachments, overpowering both Modern Warfare and Cold War weapons for the most part. Now, with the release of Caldera, it brought a lot of controversy, and this is where their plan backfired. On release, Caldera was very buggy on consoles, and a lot of people could not even play for a while. On top of that, Vanguard weapons were so hard to level up, they went up to level 70. It would take people up to 6 hours hours to level up one weapon, which in my opinion is way too long. They also made this weird rule in Caldera that you couldn't buy your loadout until your first loadout dropped, which they also delayed. So essentially, people were running without their guns for 5 minutes, and this would promote less aggressive gameplay, and people would just be holding out their money. Nobody liked this change, and it was more so catering towards people who were like noobs or people who didn't know how to play the game so that people wouldn't completely kill them off the start. But instead of Raven going and just fixing it, at the time of this recording, they announced that they're going to nerf money so that the Warzone quote-unquote economy could be better, and a lot of people are not happy about this because that was just never the issue. The issue is the loadout time and the fact that people cannot play how they want to because of the delay, causing people to hold more money. If they revert the loadout change, things would just be fine. This was like 5 steps forward but 3 steps back. Also, there have been some people who were annoyed with the time to kill, and instead of giving players extra health like the beloved Iron Trials mode, they announced that they want to decrease the ADS time of the base weapons on each gun in Warzone. This really made people angry in the community because it's a problem that can be fixed. Meanwhile, they're doing something else that has no correlation with the TTK in the game, and instead do what made everybody happy with the Iron Trials mode and implement that into each game in Warzone. The cherry on top of all this is that a lot of the people don't like Caldera, and I understand why. The map is very clunky and it just doesn't flow well. I mean, half of the time I find myself fighting a literal uphill battle with no cover, and at that point it's essentially who has the highest ground on this huge map. But we'll cover Caldera specifically later on in the video. And right now, this is currently Warzone. This is the current build that we're on, where it's 3 games integrated into one mode, and there's been a lot of controversy. There's been so many things that have happened, but overall this is the entire history of Warzone. So the story of Warzone gets really messy because it has many plot holes due to the integrations. We start off the end of Modern Warfare 2019, where essentially there was a task force called Armistice, which consisted of both Allegiance and Coalition operatives. The mission was to capture and kill Viktor Zakayev before he sets off any nukes in Verdansk, causing World War III. But ironically, Viktor paid off both Coalition and Allegiance operatives to turn on each other. Furthermore, this caused the fall of Armistice, and Captain Price had to step in with Task Force 141 to clean up the mess. On the way, there were people like Shadow Company and other mercenaries who were looking for Viktor Zakayev. They opened up the stadium to look for him, and he even powered the subways because that is how he was able to get around Verdansk. But as we can see, Task Force 141 managed to quote-unquote kill Viktor and stop him from setting off the nukes. We hear as they are headed half a click off the coast of Verdansk to Soap McTavish's location, and that is the last we know about Task Force 141. Ironically, they decide to make Call of Duty Black Ops canon to the new Modern Warfare storyline, allowing the connective tissue between Imran Zakayev and Perseus, who will be the next villain. After Task Force 141 left, there now has a ship full of zombies that came to Verdansk, leaving infection zones. There were still operators in Verdansk, but regardless, to stop the zombies from spreading, they had to nuke Verdansk in 2021. After they nuked it, there were still operators alive, and this is ironic because of the magnitude of the destructions. Which operators? I don't know. How many operators there are? I don't know. But I am hoping that they answer this question within the sequel of Modern Warfare 2019, aka rumored to be a Modern Warfare 2. We are then taken back to Verdansk 84, where Stitch had captured Adler from the Pines Mall. Essentially, the team went to Verdansk and saved Adler, but he was a sleeper agent for Perseus. Along the seasons, there were different Perseus members who were introduced and were part of Stitch's bigger plan, which was to brainwash a large number of subjects instead of just one person. Hudson and Woods realized this and called Mason to step in. Essentially, he came in and deprogrammed Adler, and they went back to Verdansk to kill Stitch. There is one last confrontation. Adler essentially kills Stitch, but this brings up more questions than answers. Where are the other Perseus agents? Did Stitch's plans go through? Are the Perseus agents still active? I mean, I don't really know the answers because they never really elaborated on it. And these are not only huge plot holes, but they're sort of a pattern, as you guys can see. They start something and they never finish it, and to me, that's just lazy writing in a story. Afterward, the team goes into a World War II bunker in Verdansk and is confronted by Butcher, who explains that he created Task Force Vanguard and they fought in the Pacific, and that's where we get another flashback inside of a flashback. And if you guys didn't know, Verdansk 84 was a flashback who was alluded to be through Adler's eyes in the story. And right now in season 1, Butcher discovered the World War II bunkers in the Pacific, and there's a whole bunch of Nazi bunkers, and there's a whole bunch of Nazis that are still there that are fighting, and that's where he's going to learn more secrets in the story. Overall, that's the whole story of Warzone currently at the moment. In terms of the story and the community's opinion, Warzone is just not in a good state. The story itself does not make any sense by having too many plot holes, and the gameplay is very buggy. I believe some of the Infinity Ward developers left because of the integration and introducing zombies, and they wanted it to be more realistic and grounded. But I don't think it's in the worst state it has ever been in. I think that would have to go around the time of April/May, when there was a lot of hackers. I think people are still playing Rebirth Island, and honestly, that's what's keeping this game on life support. Big creators have already left, like Nick Merckx, Courage, Cypher, Ninja, and even Nadeshot. And ironically, I think Caldera just drove more players away from Warzone altogether, and it sort of backfired. The map of Caldera just doesn't compare to Verdansk. Everything from the vehicles, the cover, even the bushes are somewhat annoying, and that to me is a huge factor in playing the game. And let's say hypothetically we take out all those factors, people on console didn't even have the luxury to even play on the map and give their personal opinion if they like it or not. To further elaborate on this, the game itself is very buggy. Few skins have just made people completely invisible, and on top of that, the game just doesn't flow really well because of the engine that they're using is not native to the guns. The anti-cheat somewhat worked, but that doesn't mean that the hacking situation is totally gone. I think a lot of players are in a sort of limbo with Call of Duty because they are hoping for Modern Warfare 2 to sort of save the franchise. I mean, all the games in between has sort of just been filler games. If Modern Warfare 2 is bad, I think Activision is going to find themselves back to square one prior to Modern Warfare 2019's release. Players right now play Warzone because it's dominating in the Battle Royale genre, and there isn't any game that can beat it currently. Rebirth is what's keeping Call of Duty Warzone on life support right now. And Call of Duty is just trying to keep its current fan base rather than expanding it, reaching new people because of the grind of Warzone. I mean, there are over 100 plus weapons, and at any time, any of them can be a meta. And for a new player, what if they never played Modern Warfare or Black Ops Cold War? Then they would have to go buy those titles and level up that weapon, and that would just cost them more time and more money. And even for the current titles, you have to buy the most recent Call of Duty and level up the weapons inside of the multiplayer in an efficient manner, because in Warzone it's like nearly impossible to do it. And honestly, I think Activision is just poisoning their game with all this money grab. So there have been many rumors going around regarding the future of Warzone. One of them is the new quote-unquote Rebirth map, which is a smaller battle royale map with the same player count as the Rebirth map we have currently. I mean, this would make sense seeing as Rebirth has been out for a year and there have only been a few additions to the map, like control center, color adjustments, and the top of prison having windows to break rather than the plant animation. However, the bad news is that the map probably won't be coming out until December 2022, so like another 10 to 11 months. Also, there are rumors of a new Warzone map coming with the release of the sequel to Modern Warfare 2019, aka rumored to be Modern Warfare 2. It will introduce familiar locations from the classic MW2, and it will offer a dynamic gameplay. It will replace Caldera and be a more classic map taking place in modern times similar to Verdansk, but not the same map structure. There are also some rumors that a new mode will be coming called DMZ, and what it basically is a mode similar to Escape from Tarkov. So you go to a specific place and loot and look for those items and extract. However, if you get killed, you lose everything. This would be taking place on the new Warzone map, or at least a piece of it. And this mode will replace Spec Ops, and it's been in development for almost 3 to 4 years. And as of right now, this is sort of the rumors that have been going on for the future of Call of Duty and Warzone. I think there are a lot of ways that Activision can improve Warzone. So I think the new Rebirth map is overdue and this needs to be pushed out ASAP. And if they can't push it out sooner, then at least add or take out different POIs to Rebirth, or even have another playlist for the nighttime mode. I mean, what if prison was destroyed from the roof and there was only the bottom? To me, that would completely change up the gameplay. Or what if we take out the water tower and chemical engineering? Or what if we raise the water higher? I mean, the options in that case are endless, and it would shift the gameplay drastically. Now, this one might be controversial, but restarting Warzone with Modern Warfare 2 by clearing out all the previous weapons and only focusing on the Modern Warfare 2 weapons. I think this would be a refresher and a new direction, as well as a learning experience for both Activision and the customer. If they hit a hard reset on Warzone, it may bring back things to the basics, and it would sort of be easier for them to only control about 40 to 50 weapons instead of balancing 100 plus weapons in the game, and it will sort of keep the story canon with the Modern Warfare 2019 story. I think this would personally reset the foundation of Warzone and have them build upon it, and maybe introduce a mode where you can use the Modern Warfare, Cold War, and Vanguard weapons, but sort of let that be like a sandbox mode so people don't think that they just wasted their money over the years. I also think a new engine is needed for this game given the other engines we've gotten like in Vanguard. This can shift the gameplay and allow for different perks to be used and maybe a new playstyle instead of having the same perks that we've had for the past 2 years. What if we could not slide cancel or bunny hop, or what if we can use it but it's sort of limited in a cooldown period? And that would allow more gun-to-gun battles, and I think this would change the Warzone experience and allow people to have something new to learn. And lastly, I think this is sort of the best option that Activision could do for Warzone, is to sort of end Warzone and move on to another project. Now, there is no debating that games have a lifespan, and I'm not sure if Warzone is what it once was. I think people are just getting tired of the battle royale genre and just want something new and refreshing. I remember when Fortnite became popular, it was so much fun to learn and something new, and it was nice to have a different yet competitive game, and the same applies to Warzone. But look at Fortnite and Warzone in the state it is right now. Not a lot of people are enjoying it like they once used to. There's no doubting Warzone was fun when it was in the cycle of Infinity Ward's hands, but now it's just in a weird state. Maybe quitting while ahead is a good idea, and focusing on something else is a better decision. Personally, it would be cool to see the DMZ mode that is rumored to be that new project and provide Call of Duty with something new and refreshing. What if you and your friend have to find each other and look for weapons and then extract? What if you have to find the parts to build your loadout and find rare items? I mean, the possibilities are endless, and this to me is the best move Activision can make for themselves instead of constantly tainting Warzone. Overall, we discussed a lot in this video, and I want to say that at the end of the day, I just want to see Call of Duty win again. And everything I'm saying is straight out of the heart and just out of love for this franchise. I remember playing MW2, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2 back in the days, and those were some of the best memories of my gaming experience. The future for this franchise is very, very bright if they play their cards right. This is the current state of Warzone, but I want to know what you guys think in the comments. This has been your boy Beast, and I'll see you guys in the next video.